Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. You'll notice that I have this package in front of me. This was sent to me. I had been in contact with Lightwish, and they graciously sent me one of their other products to try. So we're going to open this up so you can see what's inside. I received it I received it the other day. Sorry, I sort of lost my thought process there for a second. Anyways, it is the Lightwish colored UV resin, but this is the solid color pack that I've received. So let's get into this. So let's see, the colors are, just to see what's on the side here, light green, sea blue, bright purple, rose red, lemon yellow, turquoise green, olive green, and white. So I'm excited to try these out because I love the fact that there's an opaque. The translucents are great for some things, but I am interested to know how well the opaque work. So let me get into this. I wanted to open this on camera. I think the other thing we're going to do too, because there was an issue with the dark blue I had gotten in the other package, I am going to bring my scale over, and like we did with the other package, we'll weigh them. I haven't, as you're seeing, this was not opened, so we'll just check out the measurements. It's probably just a fluke with the dark blue in the other one, but we might as well have a look-see at that. And I like doing it before I've even opened the box or before I've even managed to take the seal off them. It's stuck here. How many of me does it take to get the package open? All right, let's get all these lids. I love that they send these. These are brilliant. And I've come to the conclusion that I now need to find some sort of container that will house all my UV colors that I've got. So there are 8 of them, which is cool. So we'll put the box over here. And one could say, well, why don't you just keep the box? And that's a brilliant idea. However, I now have 2 sets of Lightwish. I have 1 set of Let's Resin plus a couple of other stragglers hanging around. So I figure having 1 set designated box would probably be a really good idea. So let's put our scale here so you can see it. My scissors can finally go away. Put that over there. So let's turn our machine on. Can you all see that? Hopefully you can. And let's just go. So they're all supposed to be 50 mil. 59. 59. 58. 58. 60. 58. 60. 59. Brilliant. Perfect. So, as one of my members had mentioned, it's probably just on assembly line, and for whatever reason, it just didn't. I'm just re-saying my scale to 0 over there. It just didn't get enough product in it. So totally cool. But I am going to have fun with this today with you watching. Anyway, what are we going to do? I was trying to go through, but this is one of my molds that just happened to be fairly easily accessible to me. And I thought, well, let's do this because we can do all the colors at one time if I want to. And I'm sitting here debating, do I want to do anything with these? But I don't think we will. I think maybe if I do anything, I'll do it after this has had a chance to set. So what I kind of like to do is sort of do a design of colors inside it, if you will, making sure I use all 8 of the colors. I have my Let's Resin light that we're going to use because it can do both sides at the same time. I'm going to let you go. I'm going to take the tops off all of these, replace them with the other ones, and as well as take the tin foil, and I know it's not tin foil, but the seal off of all of these. Once I have done that, we will be back and we will start to fill in our skull with some colors. We will then get him all set up and we'll see how cool these opaque colors look. I will return in just a moment. I am back. I have now got the lids on all of these, as I've got that too far out of camera. The lids on all of them, all sealed, no problem from that perspective. I was enjoying seeing the smidge of color that I saw on the seal when I took it off, so that's kind of cool. I have no sort of general idea how I want to design this piece, but we are, as I said, I just kind of want to do it all together just to see how it all turns out. So hopefully you'll be able to see the colors really neat, like, if you will. And then, you know what, as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm thinking, ooh, what if we just did the eye blue and then set it? So maybe what I'll do, it's at 2 to 4 minutes for the cure time on these. So I'm sort of debating now, do I just sort of do one spot and then take it off and we can have a look at it? So let me just put some color down and then we'll go from there. And hopefully, I had to replace my silicone mat that was on this table. It was starting to bubble, warp too much, and I don't know if there's a way to maybe heat it up and stretch it out again, but I don't like when there are bubbles in my mats that I have down. If you have any tips or tricks on how I can fix that, that would be lovely, because I really hate to, get rid of them, but I don't want to keep them if it isn't something I can flatten out. Okay, so let's do an eye blue. So it may be challenging to see the colors correctly because of what? The color of my silicone mat on the bottom. So this is the blue. So I'm just going to do certain sections with the coloring. And then we'll cure it up and we'll take it out and see how they look. So this is a pretty color. I was oohing and awing as I was looking at some of the colors when they were coming out. I just have to find the proper tip. I want to move this about. So we'll just move it around a little bit. And I'll use my long neck lighter on this to get rid of any bubbles. It should be enough time for it to actually set on its own. And the other thing I could have done with this is, if I wanted to, would be to see how it looks and then put regular 2-part epoxy on it, but we're not going to do that in this video. We're just going to check out the different colors and see how they look. So that is the sea blue. This is the rose red. And it'll be interesting to see how opaque they are, because I'm pretty sure that's what the box said. These were solid colors. They're probably not as translucent as what some of the other ones are. And again, I think with these, you'd probably have to put on, maybe a couple of layers to have it be more opaque. And if these spread out a little bit, that'll be okay, because we're dealing with a skull head. Get these in here. So I really appreciate Lightwish sending these to me. I had reached out to them in regards to the blue. And then I had commented that I would be willing to, try out another one of their products for them. Because I was fine with the other. I mean, there was nothing wrong with the product. It was just disappointing that the blue, because it was such a pretty color, that it wasn't full. Okay, so we'll do the white up in here. Now the white did look like it's fairly opaque, and I'm not sure how you would make a translucent white anyway. And I will admit this might have been a bigger mold than I should have used for this, but that's okay. Like I said, this was sort of the first one I had come to. I'm going to spread this white out a little bit, because I think if I don't, I might have an issue getting it to set. Not because of a problem with the resin, but because it's just too thick. So we'll just spread this out a little bit so it's not as thick. But it's a nice white. Okay. Next color, the turquoise green looked really nice. Maybe what we'll do is we'll put this sort of around the eyes. Or do we want to put this in the rose? You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to put it down here in the teeth. Yeah, we're going to end up just taking parts of this out. You know that, right? So I'm starting to do it. See, this is a really pretty green. I will stop there, and then I'll spread it. That's a really pretty green. That I really like. I liked it when I was taking off the silver cap. So anything exciting happening in your world these days? It's very unfortunate for us, not for where I am, but in Jasper, Alberta, there was a bad fire out there, and parts of the town have been destroyed. And I saw pictures. I am fascinated by weather and fires and storms and whatnot, because of the destruction that can happen in one spot and not another. Like it's so curious to me. Where my stepdaughter lived a few years ago, there had been a tornado that had gone through. And, some houses get touched and others are left fine. Their area, the gas was shut off. They had to leave. It wasn't safe for them. But you see the pictures and you go, okay, this house is fine, but the house next to it has, been destroyed, and it looked the same way with the fire. There were parts where the fire, didn't touch, and other places it just, places were burnt to the ground. And even the vegetation, there were some trees that were fine. So it's just, I sit and I think to myself how, it just boggles my mind how that works. But I'm hoping everyone is safe. And, that they will rebuild. I mean, any place that there's been stuff like that happen, people have rebuilt. So I send them peace and happiness, and I know it's a sad thing going on. And I just, hope everyone's able to get through it okay. And I know they've got lots of people out there helping them, which is brilliant as well. So my best goes to them. So this yellow is fairly opaque. It's definitely not as clear as a yellow UV resin is. It's kind of nice too. The other thing I like about having multiple companies, well, I say multiple, I got 3, is that some of their colors vary, that makes it really nice too. Now with this yellow, I think it's lemon yellow. I'll check the bottle one moment. I have air bubbles in this, so hopefully I can get rid of some of those so that we don't have so many. We'll see. Hopefully they'll rise to the top. But what are you thinking of the colors so far? So we've done 5 of the 8. Just trying to think of where I want to go. I've got greens now, so maybe I'll do some green leaves. And it'll be interesting to see sort of, ooh, this, wow. Light green. It looks neon. You just don't know what you're going to get, eh? You see the outside of the bottle and you go, well, that's a cool color. And then it comes out of the bottle and it's, wow, that's a bright color. That is neon. And they're coming out nice and easily, so that's brilliant too. That is a bright green. I wasn't expecting that to be so green. I'll just catch it up to the yellow here. Pull it out. I was doing some decoupage. I've been working on a couple of pieces that, yeah, you start with one idea and then they just kind of go in their own different direction. You end up spending a lot of time. Anyways, I was doing some decoupaging and finding it quite relaxing. You know, as much as it takes a lot to sometimes do decoupage, because I was ripping my paper into really small pieces, it was really relaxing to do it. And it was fun. It was fun to do. So if you need something that, because you just, you know, want something relaxing, I'm going to recommend that you do decoupage. Because when I did it, yeah, it was time just sort of crept on by a little bit, but it definitely, it was relaxing. Okay, I still have quite a few bubbles in that yellow. Now it could be because of the mold too, so that's fair. The others don't seem to have the air bubbles that yellow does, and maybe it needs to just sit and settle. Well, it's been settling overnight, so I guess that's not really a reason for it, so I'm not sure why it has so many air bubbles in it. And we'll just do over here. This looks a little more transparent than I would have thought. And I guess, you know what, I'm trying to think, so what would I really expect opaque to be like? I don't expect to be able to see through it, although I know the pieces they had showed online were fairly thick. I think they had done paw prints, and I don't have a see-through paw print mold like this. I don't have one like this, so I can't do it and build it up, but we'll do that. We'll try a couple of times putting color over top of it and just see, you know, how dark we can get these. The white, obviously, I mean, that's a given that it would be. But so there we are with 7 of the 8, and purple now, bright purple. Ooh, so this might be, again, another one of those colors that's very vibrant. I am a purple fan. Purple, pink. Colors that run in my family as such. My grandmother loved purple and pink. Alright, let's just get his nose done. And then hopefully some of these I can build up a little bit so we can see if we can get them a little more opaque. Again, not sure about the air bubbles. I mean, we did burst some air bubbles in the other colors, but I'm noticing the green over here, so it could be the mold that's causing those air bubbles. So let's get this out and on here very carefully, and then we'll bring this up. Now I can't do 4 minutes. I can do 2, 3, and 5 on this. So I am going to do 3 minutes, and we'll tap it and see how it's going. I shouldn't look at the light. Isn't that one of those things when you know you shouldn't do something, and then all of a sudden you're doing it and going, I know I shouldn't be doing that. It's a bright light in there. And I had a very bad headache the other day. I don't want another headache today. They disappear, and I don't get headaches very often, and they disappear, but this one would not go away, so I ended up taking some aspirin just to get rid of it. I guess I'm very fortunate because I know some people who get migraines, and I've had bad headaches, but from what I understand, I've never had a migraine. I've never had anything that's just sort of had me hiding under my covers so that the light doesn't get, although I am super sensitive to light. And normally when I'm outside, I wear sunglasses because I can't, the light outside is too bright for me. And, you know, this light is no exception. So I am curious, how many of you have tried Lightwish? How have you liked it? And if you have tried other brands, the J. Diction, I've been wanting to try that as well. I don't think I need to get any now because I have more than enough of, you know, colored UV now. I've got the J. Diction clear that I use, so that's resin clear that I use. I'm curious if you've used Lightwish, what you think of it. Other brands that you may have used. But yeah, overall, are you a UV resin person, or are you a mix of UV resin and 2-part epoxy? I am curious about that. I seem to be a mix of different things. I haven't quite, there's not one thing I go to. I think because I like experimenting with different things. That's why I do what I do. I like to mix, and I've got pieces I'm going to show you once they're done where, you know, I've used ceramic resin, I'm using UV resin, I am using 2-part epoxy resin. You'll understand when you see the pieces and when I explain them to you. They're not done yet, so I'm not going to share yet. However, yeah, it's interesting. Some days I'm so multimedia art. Yeah. Sort of like going one direction and you start going in another direction, and on we go. So this video might be a little bit longer just because of what we're doing in the timelines. For some of the other curing that goes on, I might, you know, stop the video and then bring it back once it's done, as we do it in stages, so I can keep this video somewhat short. The ones I think that are going to be really long are short, and the other ones that I think are going to be short or long. Sometimes there's just, this out. I want to set that. See if the 3 minutes was sufficient time to set these. Like this. Can you see? Yeah. Can you hear? Definitely set. 3 minutes, definitely set those. So I kept them sort of minimum. So let's do this. We're going to take the blue, the rose red, and my turquoise, and I'm going to add another layer on to those because I want to do some of the colors to see how opaque we can get them, and I don't think we need to do all of them. Hopefully, actually, you know what I should probably do? I was going to say, can I feel if they're hot? Because I know it's probably not a good idea to put cool resin right on top of warm resin. So let's see what we can do. You know what? I'm bad for saying I should do this and then I don't do it. So let's put those other two on their side. because I dislike the air bubbles. And they're in all of them. I get that. It's not one product over another having that. They get air bubbles in them. Okay, I don't want to put too much on because I know I can smooth that out. We'll put that down on its side. And we'll smooth it out. And like, it's definitely going to get more opaque as we put more down. I mean, that's a given. Who knows, maybe I can put these pieces in something else I decide to make. Really kind of crazy of me to think, yeah, you're going to fill in the skull head, eh? Yeah, apparently no, I'm not. I do see an air bubble on that one. Okay. I love this turquoise green. I think of all the colors, it's my favorite. Good. Oh, air bubbles, air bubbles, air bubbles, air bubbles. So let's just put this. This is such a pretty color. And the other thing I really like about these is that it's the size of the bottle. I mean, I guess if you don't do a lot, and I don't do a lot of UV resin stuff, but I like that they're 50 ml bottles. That I like. Because then you know you're going to have it for a while. So I do like that. I think most of them, they start at 10 and go from there. But I like that theirs are 50. So did you pick your favorite color? And if you put it in the comments below. Oh, this is so meditative. I feel like it's kind of funny because I feel, oh, you should be talking some more. And it's like, nah. They're just sort of off in their own little world as well. And they're just, you know, watching me play. Because that's really all I'm doing. I almost wonder, as I'm, you know, dealing with the air bubbles, like the odd ones that come out the top, if it'd be worthwhile to have these upside down so that you avoid those. My father-in-law, and I never knew about this, but when he was using paint cans, he would, when he was done with them, he'd turn them upside down. And I was told that that was so that they wouldn't get a skin on the top. Because, you know, if paint sits that for any length of time, it can get a skin on the top. So what he would do is he would turn the can upside down. And then when he opened it, you know, the skin, if there one formed, would be on the bottom. I thought that was kind of neat because no one I knew had ever done that before. So some of my paint cans, not my paints I use for my art, which seems odd. I mean, I could turn them all upside down and, you know, avoid that because it wouldn't matter what kind of paint, I wouldn't think. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. So if you have old paint cans and you open them up, stir them up, use them, and then put them upside down. Okay, so there's our second coat. So can you see, especially this one at the bottom here, it's definitely looking more opaque. So I'm just going to slide it back on here. I'll bring it up. And we'll do it for another 3 minutes because I want to make sure things set. So it did say 2 to 4 minutes, so 3 seems to be a good time. I'll get these out of the way. Put them down over here. I don't know, as much as the balls are black, I have this thing that I should be keeping them away from the UV light. And yeah, I don't know whether we should try another layer or just see how these look once these are done. I might take them out just because I don't want to waste it, and I'm going to have to find something else I can do with it when I take these out. But we will take them, the little pieces out and see how they look. And I don't have anything white to place them on. I'm just wondering what I can quickly grab so we can have a look at them on white. I've got my black paper over here, but I don't have my white. Anyways, I'm really glad to have this Let's Resin light for doing pieces like this, especially because I know it's hitting them from the top and the bottom, which I think is really handy. Again, some people have put mirrors under the lamps that only have the top on them, so the light will bounce up. And I know at some point, the Resin Rockers, I'm probably going to get one of their lamps, but that's a ways down the road. I don't need one of them right now. Not right now. And I've been thinking a lot about my desk area here. I really got to get it cleaned up or use some stuff up, and then it won't seem so cluttered. I don't know what your space looks like to work in. Mine, if I can't get it organized, it drives me nuts. This should be done soon. And then we can have a look and see how opaque, based on doing 2 coats versus 1 goes. I feel like I should have music in the background playing for you. But not elevator music. Oh, I can't stand elevator music. And it'd be nice if they didn't repeat the same song over and over again when you did have to listen to elevator music. Yeah. Put on hold and it's the same 4 bars over and over and over again. Alrighty, let's see where we're at. All right, are we solid? Yep. Okay, as I say, I don't want to waste it. So there we have the colors. I really like this turquoise green. I think that's a really pretty color. That's, I think, my favorite. So I'd like to know what your favorite is out of all of this. So let's take it out. And I think anything, and I've done this with other resins, it wouldn't be just with this one, that usually when I take my piece out, I will like put it back under the light so that the underside, I mean, I know this is getting it, but I tend to think that the silicone is blocking some of the path of the light as well, but it's not wet on here at all. In fact, you know what we're going to do? Let me get my gloves off, because I don't need them on because I'm not pouring the resin now. That piece, it's not wet on the bottom. Granted, it's had a full 6 minutes under the light, but it's not, I mean, that is set. So let's put, it's a little warped, mind you, but I do know that that happens. Okay, let's do the rose red. So again, now you'll notice, and this is because of the mold, this piece has a little bit, put it on here, a little bit of color up here. That's because my mold's not clean, and it wasn't to start with, so it's not anything with their resin. That's strictly because of my mold. But again, in looking at it, I mean, it's dry. Now, this piece is, yeah, the center right here is still a little tacky. So that's why I say that when I do it, I'll put these back under for 2 minutes once we get them all out. And that's why I would do the underside, is because, I mean, the light can't fully penetrate through that. And there's the blue. put it down there so you can see better. The purple nose. And I think, you know what, as far as getting these opaque, because it is solid colors, I think it's just a matter of putting more product. I mean, that's fairly see-through, that purple. I mean, it's not an opaque, but again, if you build it up, it will get darker or more opaque. So we'll get all the pieces out now. And I imagine doing a bezel and building it up. I mean, having a bezel that's got a back on it is definitely going to help with the opacity factor. I guess white on white's not really a fair thing to do, is it? And then the flower. The biggest piece they did. All right. The detail's really cool too, though. Getting my hands so totally in the way. So let's just quickly throw these under now that I've got them. Make sure I've got them the right way up. Flip them all over. And we'll give them 2 minutes underneath. I know I'm putting them on the napkin. That's just for ease of moving them onto the tray. And the other side's fully cured, so I'm not concerned about that. Just throw those under for another 2 minutes. I love this slide on the shelf. That makes it so convenient to move this about. So you'll see, just again to clarify, that the green, that was already in my mold. So it's got nothing to do with Lightwish or their product. I just didn't have the mold clean enough. So I just thought that was important that I point that out to you. So overall, while those are continuing to dry or set or cure, I like the colors. I definitely like the colors. I totally love that turquoise green. I think it's a beautiful color, and you could do so much with it. I'm thinking if you were to, I know a lot of people are sort of doing the seascapes and whatnot, so that would be a nice color to use on them. The light green, definitely a neon color. It's actually kind of glowing a little bit. If you were here and you could look under, you can see it kind of glowing a little bit. So I do like that because you could have fun with that, and you could use that with neon colors too. Depending on what you're doing, you could use that with neon colors. The rose red is pretty, except for the purple look because of my mold not being clean. The purple, I think you'd have to do a few layers to get it looking opaque. And I'm just looking under to see what else is under there. The olive's kind of an interesting color. The white's white. Can't say much about that. The blue's nice. And I just wonder about, now, with having 2 sets of these now, and one being a translucent, like there's the ability to mix colors now to get sort of a different vibe with them. So I got 12 colors. 12? I got 6 over there, 8 here, that's 14. Again, math not good. I feel like I'm rambling in this video, but I'm doing it to use up time because of the light. So hope you can bear with me. But, you know, the combinations now that you could build on, I can build on. It's like anything else. We've got multiple colors now, so we can build on and mix together and come up with some interesting colors. And that's cool. All right. So, yeah. Hand sliding right over, finger sliding right over that right now. Yeah. My mold's not the greatest. I can see imperfections in the bottom, but again, it's my mold. It's not the product. It's just picking up what it picks up. So there you have it. I mean, I want to thank Lightwish for sending this to me so I could try it out. And as I say, I know that as you start to build these up, you're going to get it more opaque. Like that's looking pretty solid in color. And we know that with the UV resin, you've got to do it in layers. You can't, I don't know how thick I could go with any UV resin and get it to actually cure. And that's what you want to make sure it does. I do the light green. That's kind of cool. And air bubbles. Well, air bubbles are air bubbles. I'm not going to fight that one anymore. Accept them for what they are. But yeah, that light green certainly is. It's a bright color. Anyway, again, thank you for watching my videos. We are growing in numbers, which is awesome. Videos that I don't think I'll get a lot of comments on. I'm getting comments on more than I expect. So that's great. I love the interaction with all of you. I want to thank you for joining me today. There is a link to Lightwish in the comments below, or in the write-up below that I've got in there. And next time I use the UV resins, well, the mold won't be this big. Anyway, I hope you had fun watching. I thank you again for liking, subscribing, and commenting. This for 7 months now, and I'm enjoying doing it. It's a lot of work, but it is well worth it to me. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye for now.